Woo! Hi there. I'd like to invite Kezzabelle to my little podcast, Let's Talk. Um, I don't really know how to start to introduce you, Kez, because I've written a few things down. I've got about 10 pages of A4. Performance poet, 11th Bard of Northampton,
Yes.
author, Weaving Words creator, and creative workshop, and well, where do you start with that? In all community, and obviously we go around festivals, and you are now doing your one woman show,
I am.
Permission to Love
Yeah.
Yourself, which is just amazing. So I thought I've really got to get you on because I was really gutted that we couldn't make yours show on the 15th. But I did read everything and watch everything was going on, and it looked absolutely fantastic.
I,
So,
I was really chuffed because, do you know, I nearly cancelled it because a friend of mine who was an alcoholic passed.
uh,
And yeah, and it really knocked me for six. And I lost days of rehearsal. I lost time. I lost lots of time.
yeah,
And but then he was a poet. He was known as Piss Corby poet, actually.
really.
And yeah,
Corby poet, did you say?
yes. And I knew that he would have wanted us to continue.
Well, that's
So,
right.
so we did. We did continue. Yvonne Michelle opened the show, an amazing um, sort of blues gospel singer, actually soul gospel singer, and at the end had everyone on their feet, and we danced, even though we were melting. It was a really hot
Yeah.
night, and some people who had bought tickets didn't come because it was too hot. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
that hot,
No, I know it was
melting.
melting. No, I
But
mean,
I was
it looked
really
amazing.
pleased.
Yeah, it looked really did look amazing. And to do a one woman show, or from think just to think of me doing a one man show, it just frightens me to death just even thinking about it. So yeah, you did amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
So are you taking that on? You're taking your show on tour then?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Right.
So we're getting bookings all over the place, and the plan is, like I say, it's been a lot of funerals. So I had a funeral on the Monday, my one woman show on the Thursday, and then my friend Brady's funeral on the Tuesday. I mean, it's been like that. So we are behind on the bookings and things, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And it's authentic and it's being real and it's coming. And we will be back in Northamptonshire in the autumn, so you'll be able to come and see us then.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I don't want you to obviously tell us everything about your show, but
No, no.
give me a rundown. Is it obviously you're performing your poetry and is it?
Yes. So the brand new book, Permission to Love Yourself, and the book, again, due to my mum passing, and that's not even out. The running order is the poems are finished. We have the audio all recorded, and so we have a CD and an audio book download. So that's ready.
That's ready.
The book is nearly ready.
Nearly ready.
So yeah, and 62 tracks in my 62nd year. At the end
Oh,
of the month I will be 62. So it's it's the way. There's haikus, there's highs, there's lows, there's sadness, there's mischief, there's depth, a real mix. I'm very proud of it, actually. It's different to what I've done before. It's through some of them through lockdown,
yeah.
and really getting a clarity, a clear um idea of who I am, who I want to be around, being discerning about the time I want to spend and who with, and the team I'm with. I've actually managed to delegate, and that is a hard thing to do. It's like, oh, that's my baby.
Exactly what you.
So to ask for help and trust, huge.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Huge.
with the Richard and Ian sober bus that I do as well as sober retake stuff. I mean, Richard's really good at what he does. You know, he's an inspirational speaker. He's a powerhouse of sobriety, 20 years sober, but he
Mm.
needs me to do all the tech. And he just says, listen, I trust you 100%.
Yeah, yeah,
He knows I've got his back,
yeah.
and I wouldn't ever put him in a compromising position or anything like that.
No,
And if
no.
it's something major, I just quickly send him a message saying, listen, I'm going to do this. Are you
Mm.
okay with it? And his responses are, I'm fine with that, Ian.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
actually, what I do, I listen to it in his accent as well. When I listen to
Yeah.
his text messages, I read them. It's great. So it's good when you
Yeah.
can delegate some things out to some other people.
Well, the difference this time, I mean, I suppose, there's a maturity in it, and not just in age and years, in what I've learned through some testing times.
Yes.
And so and having to trust. And so 10 months ago, I moved out of my house not knowing where I was going to move. And so the last 10 months, I thought it would be a few months and then I'd move. And like I say, my mum passed and different things happened, and I didn't. And so even that, learning, what do I actually need today? What do I need today?
Yeah.
Not tomorrow, and that letting go, learning to let go of situations, of past stories that we retell ourselves over and over again. And there's a poem, if you go onto YouTube, called Moving, and it's about that, just you're never going home, you're never landing, never. So it's been quite testing, but also it's really stretched me, and I've learned a lot. When I'm a right old bag lady, I have my swim bag, my food bag, a change of clothing bag, a work bag to go into the mental health wards, and so that's what you need each day. It's
Poem in
interesting.
itself.
And myself.
No, but there's a poem in itself there.
Absolutely.
With the bags.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to write that tonight.
Yeah, the old bag.
I'm going to write the old bag. No, but you've
Bag lady.
touched on a few things there. I mean, we could have a counselling session. You counselling me, because letting go of things, people, not being, choosing who you want to be around.
Yeah,
that's a great thing, because that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're not talking about alcohol today, because this is what Let's Talk is about. It's about just being creative and letting go and doing and just talking about what we're doing and where we're going. But when you're in a pub environment, it's very difficult to choose a company you're standing next to, because it's a pub.
Yes.
And more
Yeah.
often than not, you have to sort of give up some of your personal space, or
Yeah.
listen to a conversation which you don't want to really.
Yes.
But
And the same with parties as well.
making that decision, that decision to say, right, listen, I mean, I'll go back to the Brené Brown podcast, which I've spoken about before. But she said to her friend, listen, we really love you to bits, you and your children. We want you to come to the party, but the deal is you don't drink.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, yeah, well, I'll calm it down. No, you don't understand.
No.
The deal is you don't drink. There's it is. And they go, oh, I don't want to go and stick it. And she's okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And just being able to make that decision, because you've got that clarity and
yes, yeah. It's choices, isn't it? It's choices. Yeah. And I have an interesting relationship with alcohol. I will have a glass of red wine with a meal occasionally, and but I go out at night and watch a band and drink lime and soda all night and dance my ass off, and everyone thinks you're drunk because you're really going for it. They're like, oh, no, your sort. It's like, no, you don't. You can't drive home in that state. What state?
That's how I drive normally.
Yeah. So they think I'm drunk all the time anyway, or high on something. Someone actually came up to me in a bar once and said, I want what you're on. I thought I was high on drugs, and I said, I'm not on anything.
You've done it already.
Yeah.
Let go of some of the baggage you're carrying around with it.
But then, my relationship with alcohol is quite interesting. And the poem Words Hurt, in my book Permission to Speak, is about family who I love and adore, but were massive drinkers.
Yes.
And so it got to a point where I had to walk away. I would still love them, I would still spend time with them, but as soon as you just start noticing the slur or the lengthening of vowels, or the look in the eye, and I'll say, well, I'm off now and I've had a lovely time. I would, always ready to leave.
Yeah.
Always on that alert, ready to leave before it kicks off, or I get the verbal abuse. And the next day they don't remember. Oh, I didn't mean it. But
it's funny you should say that, because now obviously I don't drink at all.
Mm.
Because I'm not anti-alcohol. People say, "Oh, you're boring." I said, "No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not
no,
anti-alcohol. I
no,
love
me neither. No.
when I was out drinking. I really enjoyed it. But the difference
Mm.
is, you've got a switch that says, right, let's turn that off now, and I hadn't.
Yeah,
So I had to make a decision because I can't regulate the amount I drink. I had to push it away
make
and
a
say, right,
choice.
that's it. I
Mm.
can't do it. But I've no problem. I mean, my wife drinks. Well, you know, Wendy, she still
She
drinks.
loves a glass of
Yeah,
wine. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, she doesn't drink like she'll have a glass of wine and leave the rest in
yeah,
the bottle for 3 or 4 days, and then go,
yeah.
oh,
I do.
to be down the sink.
Yeah.
And this voice in my head goes, "Oh my God, have you done that?" It's great. So I'm
It's
not.
when people say leftover wine. What's that?
Yeah, what's this? We've always been stoppers put in the top of a bottle once for Christmas, and I thought, what are these for then? Why would you ever? Why would you need one of these? I don't understand. Very strange. No, but what it is, are you saying about the change in people
Yeah,
dragging out of a vowel, or
yeah.
just that look? You're looking at someone, you think, right, I've lost them now.
And because I've had it all my life with
Yes.
my family,
Hmm.
I wouldn't say I'm on edge, but I'm alert and notice.
Yeah.
So
Finally.
I know straight away if I go right back to an Easter when I was back at the Headlands. You remember back at the
Yes. Yeah.
Headlands, the
Yeah.
old house then? And I remember this family member walking up the steps and they spoke one line and I knew they'd already been drinking.
Yeah.
Just one sentence. And I still greeted, I still loved,
Yeah.
but I was aware that I had to watch out.
Yeah. Well, it is like that, isn't it? You're on guard
Yeah,
because
yeah.
um,
And patterns.
people say such things. You think, oh my God,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, one of my relatives used to drink and she would be very outspoken, and she'd say things you think, Jesus, basically. And she'd make
Uh,
fun of the family members where you wouldn't normally because they're
no,
head of
that's
the
it, isn't
family,
it?
and
Yeah.
she'd take them on full on. So, yeah,
And I think part of like your health as well. If I have a glass of red wine and I don't know, a couple of gin and tonics or something, I don't know,
yeah,
whatever. I just notice my face is puffier, sluggish.
yeah,
You just notice. And
mm,
I love to feel alive. And I was swimming in the sea on Monday, a few days back, in the New Forest area.
oh,
It
well,
was one of my old school friends. I've known her for 50 years. I've known each other since we were 12, and it was her wedding. And I remember thinking, there's hope for me yet.
you talk her out of it.
Us singletons, there's hope for us yet.
Oh, bless her heart.
She'll be 62 at the end of the month, and so happy, so in love. And there's a beautiful maturity and in the people that were there, interesting conversations,
Mm.
and not just a load of slur
No, I love
and dancing and not falling over, and it just was beautiful,
I mean,
just beautiful from start to finish.
out of everybody I speak to, and I speak to lots of different people, lots of different things, I really love talking to you, Kerry, because you're looking at me now thinking I'm spouting on about being sober, and you've been at the other end where I've been at your
Yeah,
parties
yeah.
where you've turned around and I'm wearing one of your like a two.
Tutus. That's right. And there's nothing wrong with a bit of fun.
No,
But it's if you pass out or throw up on the cat or whatever and all those sort of things that people do, that
yeah,
it spoils it.
it does. Yeah, I mean, but we've had some amazing
Yeah.
parties together, more than
Yeah.
I could mention, and but I find them even better now. I'm not drinking,
Yes.
which is crazy because when
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
drinking, I couldn't imagine ever being at a house party where
Without.
I wouldn't be able to drink. I used to turn up with four
Yes.
bottles of wine. Here you go,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and yeah. So
I'll
that
be having a housewarming soon, so you'll be able to come. And
yes,
I can honestly, I would say about half, it'll be half and half of drinkers
yeah,
and non-drinkers.
oh, that's fine.
It'll
Isn't
be
it?
a mix, and we'll be able to look out over the fields and put the worlds to rights.
Yes,
And
definitely.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Mm,
But part of what I do is encouraging people to be creative,
mm,
so that expressing yourself, whether it's through the pen, through splashing paint, dancing, drama, whatever it is, the opportunity to express yourself and get it out, it's huge and can be life-changing. I've seen it change lives, because often we're on this running rat race where we never have that time just to be, just to run, just to that time. That I love to swim a couple of times a week. You can't text, you can literally sort out, the first 20 lengths are just like, oh yeah, I must remember to go shopping or whatever, and the next 20 lengths are prayers for people I love or situations, and then the last 20 lengths are for me. And sometimes it's creative, like and designing how the stage is going to be for the show, or thinking, that outfit would look good with that, because I'm going to be the town crier in a couple of weeks' time, so I'm working out some crazy outfit to ring the bell. Oh yay, it's Ketfest today.
Yes,
And
it's
all that.
Ketfest, isn't it, coming up? I mean,
Yeah.
I did write the date down, but I can't remember. It's coming up very soon, isn't it, Ketfest?
Yes, 15th of July. Yeah.
15th.
Yeah.
No, that's
And
not.
I'll be hosting the spoken word space in the Kettering Library from 11 till 5. So I'm town crier, 9:30 to 11, and then we bring in the mayor, and she says, and we hereby start the day. And then there's 5 stages with all different bands and things, and there's food and all sorts of things going on. And I think Green Patch are doing loads of stuff as well, like about nature. And I've got bards and poets and playwrights, horror fiction writers, rappers. It's such an amazing stream of different people who are performing poems and stories, and so it's
I mean,
exciting.
I was unaware of the power of poetry, really. I'd never really been, well, I just hadn't been around poetry.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried writing songs.
Yes.
I thought, it's okay, but they sound very sort of infantile, not particularly how I wanted them. And I went to one of your evenings. And I thought, I'm going to go mainly because I wanted to support you, and also I wanted to find out a little bit more about what's going on. And it was one in Wellingborough when we were behind the camp.
Oh, it was that bookstore, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I thought, what's the bookstore? And I went in there, and I came out thinking, oh my God, that
So
was
moving.
absolutely amazing. I had that feeling. I'm wiggling my fingers around now. I don't know what that even means. It was just I suppose you call it connection, really.
It is
There was
connecting.
some really powerful people there.
Yes.
The poetry was just amazing. And
It's emotive, isn't it? It's touching all the emotions.
Yes.
And that's why I love being able to do the one-woman show, because if I'm headlining for an act or an event, you might have 20 minutes. If you've got your whole show, you can really connect with that audience.
Yeah.
I chat between the pieces, and some of them, they're howling with laughter. Drumming Dream, they're howling, they're banging, and it's all about a dream I had about being drummed, and it's just ridiculous and mischievous and fun, and the audience are banging with me as I'm doing this poem. But then I'm doing a poem as I sit in this little corner on a chair, and there's a bright orange sort of room divide, and it's like my messy bedroom that you can see behind me, which is a temporary one at the moment, and it's got tutus hanging on it, it's got records, it's got my swimming costume, it's got all my yes all my messy things hanging on it. But actually, once you're sitting in that corner, that space, you can do a poem called Missing Him, and that will be about that anniversary that comes up, and you didn't even have to say whose anniversary it is or what it is. And it's really touching about people you miss on that anniversary and that date. And almost to the point where it may bring tears to your eyes. And then you can take a breath and move from that corner of the stage with that seated area and my hairy rug of life over the chair and all that I take to all the festivals. And then you can move to the center of the stage, and you can be animated. You can take it up a notch. You can do a poem about the first dance that you had, New Love's Dance, and the twists and twirls, and so you can change the pace of what you're performing or what you're sharing. And it's just
Yeah.
such a privilege. I absolutely love it.
Mm. I'd imagine that you can be very interact like with the audience, because if I
Yeah.
was performing a song and halfway through the chorus somebody said something, it ruins the flow of the song, doesn't it? But I mean, with poetry, I understand it still flows and you get the
Yes.
rhythm of the way you deliver it. But if you've got a pause as somebody does something or clicks or whatever,
Yeah.
you can just stop that poet, remark on it, or so, or it's
Yeah, that's right. That banter.
and then
Oh,
you can
yeah.
carry on. You can pick up where
And
you
we
left
do a
off.
Q&A at the end,
Yes.
so people can actually ask, how long did that take? Or what about this? And what did that mean? Yeah, or whatever, because everyone's got
Q&A at the end,
questions.
really good as well, because if you have got any merch like books, CDs,
Mm.
people want them signing as well, and
Yes, they
they
do.
like that. I mean, I'll give you an example. When we used to go to sofa sessions, which was
Yeah.
in Kettering, we all used to go to that, and that we get artists. We're very lucky, really, because you get artists that performing in theatres. They weren't like pub bands, were they? They were like
No, no.
level up, like the big festival bands,
Mm.
and they'd be going from Edinburgh down to, I don't know, down to Portsmouth, and because they'd stop halfway, and obviously Rachel had the connections to we
Yes.
get them to stop and do a gig, so they get fed, watered, sleep for the night, and paid. So
Yeah.
you get the bigger bands coming to play
Yes.
in really intimate venues. And it was nice to be able to go and talk to John Smith, talk to
Yeah. Yeah.
Rachel Reeves, to talk to Mark Geary. And, you know, I can remember we had a meal with Rachel Reeves, and me and Wendy got an invite to go around.
She's from Canada, was she, or America?
American.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I saw her. She was
my
amazing.
favorite female artist. It's like
Mm.
me being invited to go for a meal with someone like Lady Gaga. So I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't actually think I said anything for the first half an hour. I just sat there, sort of just in awe of her
Yeah.
presence, because she was a fantastic storyteller, and the things she was,
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
go over all different parts of the world, don't they? And
Yeah. Yeah.
when you listen to Mark Geary and he's telling you about when he lived in New York,
Yeah.
just you just listening and taking
Yeah.
everything in. It's just
I
amazing.
love being around creatives actually, because there are always the stories, because you're meeting different people all the
Mm.
time and sharing stories and experiences, and it is amazing.
Yeah,
It's
and
hard work,
yeah,
but it is
cool.
amazing.
But what makes me laugh is when you find yourself in a situation or a place and you think, how the hell have I ended up here?
I know.
I mean, I
I
can remember hearing
know.
Kenneth J. Nash, who was a friend of ours, Kenny Nash.
Yeah.
Um, I went to the Beltane Fire Festival with him and his wife, me and my wife, and we all stayed together. And it was a terrific weekend. That was my first dry festival. And actually, I was drinking at the time, but it's non-alcohol, it's a dry
Yes.
festival. And I could hear somebody playing the xylophone, and I could hear somebody playing guitar. And I walked out the tent, and the guy had got a xylophone hanging in the boot of his car, and he was dressed in full festival clothing with a plaited beard,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was playing guitar, and he was playing the xylophone in the back of this car. And I just thought, where else am I going to see that?
Exactly. Exactly. But there's opportunities that have been coming my way, and you do get a touch of that imposter syndrome as well.
Oh yeah,
You know,
mm,
because I was asked to do this interview with Authority magazine, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And I've had some press releases and things from the show, and particularly on the mental health front, because each town and city we're going to, I'm doing a Weaving Words creative writing workshop in their mental health ward, in their town, their city, or in their wellbeing centre. So there's that we're bringing to the table as
yeah,
well. Anyway, so they did this. It was a really in-depth interview, and it was quite challenging actually, but it really made me think, because it was asking about your passions, why you're doing it, and just such a lot of depth, and also asking for examples and stories. And so lots of stories were coming up. But what got me was the title. That's where the imposter syndrome crept in. I was feeling all pleased and all confident and all like, oh, they've asked me. The title was the 5 things you need to write powerful and evocative poetry. And all of a sudden I was thinking, well, who am I to be asked that and write that. Who am I?
I mean,
And I've been writing for 14 years, but there's people out there who've done it longer than me. And all of a sudden, just that title almost pulled the rug from under me. But I'm really proud of it. I'm
five
really
things
proud
you
of it.
don't need, couldn't you?
Pardon?
You could almost call it 5 things you don't need. You
Yes.
take away this perception of
Yeah.
you've got to be this, you've got to be that,
Exactly.
and you've got to be,
Exactly.
you
And
know,
that's what a lot of the responses I put in it, and giving examples of stories and what have you. And also, I was aware that normally I would go and tell my mum, oh, guess what?
yes,
And I could, and she'd say, oh, I'm so proud of you and I love you. And I couldn't go and tell her.
I'm proud of you because I
Thank
think
you,
it's amazing
darling.
what you
Thank you.
really do. But you are right about with obviously with people who are no longer with us, you instantly get that. I know Wendy has with her nan. She'll say, "Oh, I just wanted." She'll drive past her nan's house.
Yeah.
It was, and she'll think, "Oh, I'll stop in for a cup of coffee and just have a chat."
Yeah.
And of course, she's no longer.
No.
Very,
I'll just tell her that. I'll just tell her this.
yeah. Oh, I just tell her that's amazing.
And my friend who I mentioned earlier, Piss Corby Poet,
Yeah.
he used to randomly either ring up or message and go, anyone told you they love you yet today? And I say, no. And they go, love you. And that'd be it.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
Yeah.
Now that,
Lovely.
beautiful. How beautiful is that? How special is that?
Yeah,
And now I won't have that. So
yeah.
yeah.
That's, but it's good that you've got the memory of it.
Yes,
Because it's
exactly.
happened.
Exactly.
And I'm not playing it down at all. I totally understand.
Oh, no.
But it's nice that you can like just send you
Have the memories. Yeah.
that story and say this guy used to send me. I mean, it's only now I've stopped drinking that I've opened myself up to a deeper level of conversation with people, where before you'd give answers like, "Wow, I'm sure it'll work out,"
Yeah.
or "You do what you want to do." You know what you're up to. In other words, not really interested, to be honest. But
I can't be asked. I've got a pint waiting.
exactly. Never mind that it's your round.
Yeah.
I'm going in between you if I'm not careful. I go in between the drinks. But when I talk to people like Duncan, for example,
Oh, he's
he's
amazing.
amazing. And I sent him a message actually because don't get me wrong, he's busy, he's everything else. And usually when he sends me a message back, it's it's a nice message, and he was very nice. But I could just tell, and I need to talk to him actually, that he was obviously preoccupied or something. You could just,
Yeah, he was rushed.
and in the end, I was quite funny today because I sent him a message and I said, "Hi, Duncan. Just let me know. Have we had a fallout or a row that I wasn't involved in?" And he said, "Oh my God, no, we haven't. An argument which I wasn't invited to."
I love the way his mind works. He
Yes.
he thinks things through and turns them on their head. And actually, most creatives, that's all they're doing. They're looking at things from a different angle. And so most of my time in the mental health wards or at festivals or in the community or wherever it is, Johnny's Happy Place, wherever it is encouraging adults to be playful, actually, to be childlike
Yeah.
and look at something in a different way. And not just, yeah, I know what a snowdrop looks like. Actually, let's look closer. Let's turn it upside down. Let's smell it. Does a snowdrop smell? When you turn it upside down, did you know there was little green hearts underneath the white petals? I didn't.
No, I didn't. No.
And did you, that little tiny stem just behind it, it has a little tiny support holding it, holding that heavy head of that.
Yeah.
And in a storm, you'll see trees blown over, you'll see benches blown over. Those snowdrops stand fast, and those roots are deep. And that's those sort of thoughts and questions, and you can scribble about that. Anybody can scribble about that. Gets that mind thinking and working.
Letting people, not letting people, I didn't mean that, but allowing people to allow themselves,
encouraging, yes.
bring it out.
Yeah.
See, that's with me. I wouldn't I remember we had Abby Jinx on.
Yes.
We spoke to her together.
Yeah.
And she invited me to a dance. And because I felt I'll be honest, I felt because I was there, I almost like I should reciprocate and say, yeah, I'll come along to that. But the thought of actually doing that, I just couldn't do it. I made some limp excuse, some lame ass excuse. And I should have just been honest, really, and said, look,
Yeah, yeah.
this just terrifies me. And that's when a lots of people have drink because they think, right, I'll be a Dutch
Mm,
courage, or,
mm.
like the dad dance on the dance floor, after. But you should be allowed to make a fool of yourself, shouldn't you? If
Exactly. When people say,
if
"Oh, did you
anybody
see them?"
will pull
Oh,
you up on it.
yeah,
I mean, I can remember we went. It was actually one of your parties, and we'd had a little bit too much to drink,
mm.
and I won't say who it was, but somebody wasn't very well, and it wasn't me, right? But and Ross was there, a friend of ours, Ross, good
Yes, a
musician,
great musician and
yeah,
guitarist.
from the Abrahams, and we said, oh, so we're not very well, and he actually said, listen, you're completely surrounded by friends.
Yeah,
We've all been in the same situation at some point.
yeah,
There's,
yeah,
people care, but they don't care in a nice way.
yeah.
It takes a blind bit.
It's fine. But yeah, we all make mistakes. We
All
all
look
have
after each other.
situations. It's fine. Yeah. But
Speaking
that, I
of,
think when I was asked to do a quote for a newspaper last night, and it was about mental health.
hmm,
And they asked me to do a quote, and that was about young people and mental health. And I remember running a Weaving Words for Youth. And these young people sat around my table, and some with learning difficulties, some with issues and things, some just home educated, one chosen mute.
mhm,
And I said to them, if you don't really want to come and your parents have made you come, you don't have to come next week. It's absolutely fine. You do not have to come.
mhm.
But the only thing I ask of you is, will you get a little book and every day scribble in it? That's it. That's all I want you to do. And I said, you do not have to come again if you don't want to.
No,
So I let them off the hook. They all did come back, actually. But I just needed them to know, because actually that's my goal. Because if from now on, every morning when you woke, instead of looking at your phone, you did some deep breathing and then did a little scribble of your thoughts, feelings, and what the day's got for you, or how you're feeling that day, whatever. Huge,
yeah,
huge to be able to be totally honest with yourself. Like, I'm worried about this, or I'm really excited about that, or this person is pissing me off, or whatever it is. To be able to have that honest conversation with yourself, your book, not show it to anyone, is that pen can be a tool for life then. So
that's right. And it's it's good to write things down, isn't it? I mean, even if you not so much about poetry, say how many times have you had a dream you thought, that, you know what, that was amazing.
yeah,
You could be
yeah,
anything. You could be a secret agent, or you could have been doing so. Obviously, something relates to a movie.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
I mean, I went on tour with Oasis the other day, and I was with the band, but I wasn't playing with the band. I was just
No,
like almost like a guest with the band.
yeah.
And funnily enough, I always thought Noel Gallagher was really nice and Liam was the dickhead, but it ended up in my dream. I want to say in my dream, it was the other way
Yeah.
around, and it was really interesting.
Ah,
But I remember that. But
yeah.
my wake up, I think that was amazing. And then 10, 20 seconds later, I've forgotten what it was. And
And also, say you go for a walk, Ian. Say you go for a lovely walk in the countryside, and you sit down on a bench for a minute, and you have this amazing feeling. Say you scribble down, I'm feeling like this. I can feel the sweat on my neck, or that little bird chirping in that tree, or my feet are feeling like this or that, and you might just scribble it down. You The next day you wouldn't remember all the detail of the beauty or the tough bits or the
yeah,
whatever. But when you glance over that, you sometimes you write stuff and you never look at it again. If you have a bit of a rant, like rah, and then
yeah,
you just feel better and turn the page. And then other times you might glance through and go, oh, I remember that bench. I remember that walk. I remember the dew on that branch, and I remember how the air smelt. And it doesn't have to be a poem. It can just be some scribbles and stories, or just thoughts. Might just be two lines.
no,
Yeah,
that's right. I
yeah,
mean, that's. I mean, we do it with our phones, photography wise, all the time, don't we? And how often do we actually go and look back? But you say to
yeah,
have a pad, and to
Yeah.
think, right, I'm just going to scribble this down, write it
Or
down.
even a little small one in your back pocket, or or
My
your jacket
biggest
pocket.
problem, and it's been like this lots of time, is because I was brought up in a very sort of traditional fashion. It
Mm.
wasn't, you weren't allowed to be but that could have been a sign of the times. It wasn't
Mm.
necessarily my upbringing. And if I'd have wrote a poem, one of my parents would have probably said, "Who do you think you are?"
Yes.
Oscar Wilde, or something, or made some comment. Well, you might laugh. We laugh as adults.
Yeah.
As a child, you
Yes.
it would be enough to make you put it down.
Wished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight away.
Yeah.
Chris, who do you think you are? That sort of attitude. And it was very much like that, which is kept certainly myself from being as creative as I'd like. And you like we were talking about imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
get that feeling of like, even coming on here now, talking to you about poetry,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about poetry. How can I come on and talk to you about poetry? But that's why I want to talk to you. I mean, because
Yeah.
we've got the festival season coming up, and you know what weekend it is this weekend?
It's Tannerfest.
It's Tannerfest. Are you
Yes.
going to Tannerfest?
I am on the Friday,
Oh, right, we're
uh,
going.
and I'll be there in the Saturday morning. It's my youngest son's girlfriend's baby shower in the afternoon, and then I'm performing at Jazz at Tree on a boat called the Ark, and
The
there's
art.
jazz and spoken word, jazz and poetry. It's like a fusion of both. So I'm performing at that in Northampton.
Well, that'd
On
be amazing,
Saturday.
wouldn't it?
I know, I know. I'm really looking forward to it. I've performed for them before. It's the last one, but I think she's taken it elsewhere. I think she's taken it to London and
Yeah.
other places. But so we'll be floating, and there'll be jazz and poetry, and so I've got a little bit of
Yeah.
Tannerfest, a little
But,
bit of babysitting, a
yeah,
little bit of this, a little bit of that.
for people listening, Tannerfest is a local festival to me,
Mm,
Kez, and it's held on a farm. And people imagine this farm being set out as a festival looking place.
it's
No,
not.
it isn't. It's just literally put a bar,
It's an old barn.
a cow barn. I mean, one year the cows were still in the barn. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And they open up, they just clear out one of the sheds. They
Yeah.
have professional musicians playing with the
Yes.
sound people and lighting. So they do go to town with that side of it. It is an amazing festival.
Mm.
But I mean, last time I went there, I'd walked past somebody who was asleep in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just think, oh, no one takes any notice. And it's a very discounted price on alcohol, isn't it? So I think
Yes.
people
Yeah,
go
it's
there,
very.
it's all real ale, and it's a good local
Do you
festival.
remember the band Spooktoot?
Yes. Did he cut all the sleeves off his
Yeah, and he had like that
like a
German helmet,
German
and
helmet on his? Yes, I do actually. Yeah.
that well, I was chatting with them around a campfire, and they said, "Oh, we're on tomorrow." And they said, "Oh, you like your words, don't you?" I said, "Oh, I'm a poet." And he said, "Do you want to come on stage with us tomorrow?" And I just said, "Yes." I hadn't even heard their music. So I ended up on this stage with Spooktoot marching, and they gave me this bit of paper with, when we stop, you say, "Bring in the dogs," and this sort of thing. It was really bizarre, and marching and doing all these weird things. And they went so well. They said, "Do you want to come and do it in London with us in 4 days' time?" I went, "All right." So I dressed up, went down there. We had a ball. But that was just a campfire at Tannerfest in a little village,
Yeah.
chatting around a fire. And,
Some of the music they have in there, I mean, they've split it into two now. You've got two different stages. So you've got the acoustic
yeah,
and where all the singers songwriters, but they have some really wacky bands there.
they do.
And I remember listening to a band. I remember talking to Justin, the guy who organises it.
Mm.
I said, "This band reminds me of listening to Hawkwind." I said, "It's that sort of."
Mm.
And he said,
They have a lot of prog rock,
"Yeah,
don't they?
that's
Yeah.
right." He said, "Funny you should say that. The bass player used to play for Hawkwind." And I
Ah.
said, "Wow, I wouldn't have known that." And it was just a lucky guess. But I just thought, yeah, they're just crazy,
Yeah,
really.
yeah. But having that freedom to be crazy, if you want to call it crazy,
That's right.
because actually it's creative, but it's creative, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
alternative. It's, when people say to me, "I can't paint," I stick a brush in their hand, say, "Let's put your favorite music on." We dance and splosh,
Yeah.
and that's painting. Now, whether you want to compare that to someone else or whether you want to show it to anyone, it's up to you. really the problem is when people compare all the time.
Who thinks they can paint? I mean, Vincent didn't think he could paint, did he?
No,
You know,
yeah,
it's it's crazy. But when you get your new place, if someone says to you, "I can't paint," you'll stick a roller in the hand. It's,
exactly.
oh, look, good job you've done on that wall.
And actually, that's why I'm passionate about running retreats. I ran a couple of retreats with my yoga friend before lockdown, and we haven't had any since. And so we're in the process of we're looking at some land and water so
Yeah.
that people can come and just be still, or sleep in a tree house, or paint or write or just be creative.
I mean, that's amazing. I was going to talk to you about retreats because a friend of mine went to a retreat in Wales. I don't know whose he was, but he went there. And what they do, you lock your phone in the thing,
Yeah,
but they give you a phone, and it's an old Nokia 3310 or something like that. So
yeah.
in a case of emergency, you can phone them, and you can speak to people,
But you're not Googling or being
but you're not
distracted.
googling. And after the second night, he came back. He said it was having a negative effect on him. He said
Oh,
the first 2 days he was fine, and he's really creative. He's written a book, and
wow.
he said in the end he found it very, very he just started to overthink things, and I think he was probably just in the wrong place at the time.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure if he went back now, he'd probably be completely different. So when you say run a retreat, then
Yes.
I've sort of visualized: is it like a camping retreat or with
Well, we've got different plans for different prices and
yeah,
things.
of course,
So
yeah,
there will be ones where there'll be yurts
yeah,
and there'll be rooms and cabins and things like that. But there'll also be the opportunity to just pitch your tent up and do that
yeah.
sort of thing as well.
Oh, that's good then, isn't it?
And we're looking at one with a lake, and there's one with a river running by it. So
Mm,
you'll have the opportunity to fish or swim
yeah,
or even stay on a boat.
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mm,
so there's lots of it's that again, allowing people to be creative. And the gentleman or your friend that was saying about struggling, um, I would challenge whoever's listening to the podcast today to try, and you might struggle with this, and you might have to spend £3 on an alarm clock from your local shop,
mm.
to put your phone in another room overnight, and then you work out how addicted you are.
Yeah, I said
That,
this the other day. Someone said, I
mm,
can't understand how somebody would be addicted to alcohol or anything. She said, just show a bit of willpower. And I went, okay, give me your phone.
yeah,
So I put it
yeah,
in the drawer. And I'll give you back at 5 o'clock.
yeah.
And she said,
They
no.
start getting a bit uncomfortable, a
Yeah.
bit.
And
Oh, I've
she said,
left it.
no,
Where is it? What?
this is
Yeah,
how people feel all day, every day.
yeah,
So give me your phone and I'll put it in the drawer and
yeah,
don't think about it until 5 o'clock tonight.
yeah.
And she went, no, I can't do that. I said, that's fine. I said, I'm not here to judge anybody, but I'm just
No,
giving you an
but
example.
there's different
Something they
addictions,
are
isn't there?
addicted to without consequence. Well,
Yes,
you think it's not like being an alcoholic or a drug addict. Yes, you
it
could.
is though. It's all
It
addictions.
is. I mean, Jez Hellard, who's playing on the 24th of August in Oundle.
Oh, is he?
Yes, he is.
Oh, can I come with you, please?
Well, it's our wedding anniversary.
Oh, right. Better not then. I'll be a gooseberry.
Not well, you were there when we got married, so
Yeah, that's true.
and the good thing about it is, it's on the 10 years to the day that we got married. Jez is playing, and we had our wedding.
Oh,
So I'm really looking forward to that.
oh, that's awesome.
So he's playing at Oundle. Tickets are on sale at the moment, and
Oh, I'll check that out.
yeah, he's playing it as well. He's playing at the Talbot,
All right.
so it's quite a nice place. It's a nice place. I'm glad
You
he's
can stay there as well, can't you?
can. Yeah, it's yeah, I think it's probably the most expensive place to stay in Northamptonshire because it's got the staircase from digressing now, but it's got a staircase from Fotheringhay Castle,
That's right.
isn't it? Mary Queen of Scots and all this. If you,
Yeah.
but
Does
yeah,
he drink?
yes.
Because I thought the part of the story was going to be that you were going to say he'd given up, but
No, I don't think he has. But I
no.
mean, good luck to him. He's out all the festivals all the time, and
Yeah.
I certainly don't think he's got any problems with anything like that. So
No.
enjoy yourself. And I was talking to him today about the FOMO part of being at a festival, and he's
Yeah.
sitting in the back of his van because he's sleeping in his van.
Yeah.
Just about to call it a day, like at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
hears someone go and do a can of whatever, and his ears prick up, And he said,
Oh no.
I've got to get up and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
So I've just
Yeah.
got to go and find out what's going on.
But then I'm like that without drinking, because if you drink, you fall asleep. Whereas if you don't, you can dance till 5 in the morning and not miss anything.
See,
That's my take.
I'm actually, I'll be honest, I'm an early bird now. I get up really early, like between
Mm,
5 and 6 every day, but I
mm,
can't do the late shift. So
yeah.
you can't have everything, I suppose. But there you go.
You can-
Um, Before so I just wanted to talk to you about the things you've got going on, all your different things. I know you've got a YouTube channel, haven't you? Which you
I have, yeah. Just you
good.
just type in Kezzabelle Ambler. There's films that we've made, there's interviews, there's live performances, a
Yeah.
real mix of everything.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a quick look earlier actually. I thought that's great,
There's
And
loads of different things.
you've got your own website.
I have kezzabelle.co.uk.
Yes,
Yeah.
go on there and you do post regularly, update it where you're going.
Well, actually, my website man is struggling with his health at the moment, and so we had a few issues with the website. So there are new stuff on there, but not
Yeah.
as much as I'd like.
No, okay.
So
So
there's a
really,
little bit more work to go on there, but
social media is the way to find out
yes,
what you're up to.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
on
on
there,
LinkedIn
Facebook.
and Twitter and TikTok and Facebook and what's
I
the
don't
other?
know how people manage
Instagram.
to find time. I mean, I recently opened a TikTok account. I thought, you know what, I ought to be on TikTok. And I thought, you know what, with Instagram and Facebook and my sober retake support group,
Yeah, you've got a lot
and
on
I thought, and
actually.
then with the Richard and Ian sober bus, I mean, we've got 10 or 11 groups on
Yeah, yeah, it's growing, isn't it?
admin to, and I thought, I just don't know how people find the time. So
And actually, I think it's just as long as you don't get too carried away, if you can dedicate, I don't know, half an hour a day or whatever it is to doing this, that, and the other, and stick a timer on that, then it's not so bad. But
I
it's
mean, that's what I do, and I suggest that, like you just said, because now I'm really lucky actually because we were on about delegation earlier on.
Mhm.
I've got some great ambassadors that run the
Yes.
groups, and they're moderators and they're admin, and they can
Oh,
post.
that's really good.
And also, if they want anything with the groups, like different designs or logos or things, they'll come to me and I'll do them straight away, and we're open
Yeah.
and doing stuff. So that works really quite well. And Richard
Oh, brilliant.
sends me videos and I post them for him.
Ah.
Sometimes he could be anywhere. I mean, he's on vacation at the moment. He's in Virginia. So I
Oh,
don't.
right.
I said, I hope you're on a recruitment drive, Richard.
I've just thought actually, after mentioning my friend who's struggling at the minute, I don't know, you might be interested, and I don't know if anyone will hear this in time, but on the 20th of July, at the Toller Church, it's a beautiful venue.
Yeah.
We did a 4-week course called Nib Talks, and people were writing their stories
All right. Where's the
and
church in where? Sorry.
in Kettering.
Kettering. Right. Okay.
Yeah, Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
And there's an event on the 20th, and it starts at 7:30. I think the tickets are a fiver because you get food and
Yeah. Of course.
cheese and crisps and bits and pieces and everything. And but some of the stories are amazing. And one of them is about, I won't give it away, but it's about a gambler who his granddad used to take him to the bookies when he was 7,
Really.
and how it grew and how it overtook his life, because talking addictions. And the story is incredible and so powerful. So we have about half a dozen powerful stories that people might enjoy to come to if they can get to
Yeah.
Northamptonshire.
Was that chap you spoke to me about, Mr. Peach?
Yes,
Yes.
incredible,
Yeah. I mean,
incredible
I
story.
think what we need to do is, if you don't mind, Kez, we could perhaps both get him on here,
Yeah, yeah,
and we can talk to him and just listen to his story. Really, I mean, we're not
it's amazing.
making go over a load of stuff he doesn't want to, but it'd be great just to listen
It's
to.
been life-changing for him
Yeah,
actually to actually write it, because it was a story that he closed the door on and hasn't confronted, and actually coming to Nib Talks, the workshops, has helped him to write about it and process it, and it's really helped him to get it out. And the talk is incredible that he's written.
Because it must be, I mean, I'd definitely like to come to that, because
Yeah.
we'll talk about different addictions. And what I find fascinating is if people are addicted to alcohol, they can't understand how someone can be addicted to gambling, because they've probably never ever placed a bet in their life.
No.
They think, well, I just don't understand that.
Yeah.
And it's very strange that even though things you sometimes run side by side, they they have no concept of somebody
Understanding.
else's addiction to
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
and usually, I mean, sometimes people have counselling and things, and it goes back to something in childhood, or there's usually a process,
yeah,
or it's come from some hidden something missing, or a hole, or it usually comes from somewhere, trying
yeah.
to fill a hole or
Even speak
mask something.
what we were saying earlier on about having a deeper relationship with friends, because now you're sober, you talk to people on a different level.
Yeah.
Don't just tell, oh, did you go out last night? It wasn't that sort of conversation. And
Yeah.
I was really struggling a little while ago with something. And I spoke to Duncan. I actually phoned him and said, look, I think I need to talk to somebody really. And he said, right, we'll have a chat. And I was talking to him, and he actually said to me, if you're at a bus stop waiting for a number 9 bus, and you sat there and sat there and sat there waiting for this bus to come along, then after about 2 hours, you realise you weren't at the number 9 bus stop, you're at the number 13 bus stop.
Yeah.
How long are you going to sit there waiting for that bus to come?
Yeah.
It ain't coming.
Yeah.
So when are you actually going to get up and walk off to find the
Yeah.
right bus stop? Because while you're sitting there, you can stamp your feet. You think
Yeah.
you're not even entitled to this bus to come along.
Yeah.
But you've really got to try and think that that bus is never going to turn up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're waiting for an apology or waiting for an explanation or waiting for something from somebody, you might not ever get it. So you've got to try and sort it out yourself. And even
Yeah.
though obviously that doesn't cover everything, but
No,
I just found that really helped with what I was dealing with.
that's really good. I
Yeah.
like that.
And he put it in such a way, because he paused, the way Duncan delivers.
Yeah, he's so
And he
thoughtful.
paused
Yeah.
and he said to me, you know what, Ian? He actually said, you've got to let that shit go.
Yeah, you got to let it go.
Just like that. And I thought,
Yeah.
that's stuff. And also I spoke to Richard about things as well. And he's more motivational rather than
Yeah.
got that. He's like, you can do this. And so they complement each other quite well.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I think we're about done. I would let you carry on your evening. So we've got books,
Thank
we've got
you.
CDs, we've got all sorts of things going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I say, we'll go on the website and you'll see some of the different things that I'll be doing, and reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out.
We can
Yeah,
get you on
come to the
Instagram,
Weaving Words
Facebook.
workshops. They're online,
Yeah.
and the app's coming out in the autumn.
We talked about your app. So
Yeah.
that app is really good because, well, it works both ways really, because it's really good that you can get your content on on a phone, holding my phone up here, but it's in somebody's pocket 24/7.
Yeah.
And instead of digging out the laptop trying to log on, you just press it
Exactly.
and you're on there. And that, I mean, I don't know much about the sort of poetry community, but with the sober community, it's a never-ending support network. It really is.
Yeah.
It's literally like taking the lid off a can of one of those
Yeah.
caterpillars that zoom out. It's like there's so many people, and
But
they're
the idea is
so nice.
it's called a Weaving Words experience. So each day you'll have a positive affirmation to get you through the day. You can click on a workshop. So there's films of me going, come on then, let's write. Let's do this. Let's write about that. Have a think about this. Have a think about that. Let's scribble about this. It's sort of encouraging you through.
Yeah.
So you literally watch, pause, and write. And that's how it goes. And then you watch, pause, and write. And then each month we have a webinar where we all come together as a community. So we're actually in touch with each other.
Yeah,
So I think it's important, because especially as we're going into mental health wards and communities around the country, you can't give someone a little taste and then run off into the sunset. They might want a follow up.
no, I like that. It's like that when if you speak to somebody. I mean, I'm not a counsellor, so I don't try and counsel people.
No.
But what I'm saying, if you speak to somebody, you don't want to say, Tell me about your early childhood memories. Tell me about the trauma. Right, time up. That's it then. Have a
Yeah,
nice time. See you next week. And
exactly.
with the lid off the box, and not
Yeah,
knowing what to do with the contents. You've
yeah.
got to feed people in and feed them out, haven't you?
And especially if someone finds that writing helps them and they just want that bit of encouragement or that daily encouragement to write or to scribble or to just
It is a
get
long
it out.
process to gain your confidence, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like we were
yeah.
saying earlier, all it takes is someone to say something like, "Who
Mm,
wrote this? 5-year-old," or some stupid remark
yeah.
like that.
And actually, the audio of Permission to Love Yourself starts with um, when they really love themselves is a compliment, not a put down. Right, that, oh, they really love themselves.
Yeah.
As opposed to, do you know, they really love themselves.
Mm.
It's a good thing, not a like, oh, look at them. What do they think? Who do they think they are? That they really love themselves is a positive thing.
Mm.
They've worked their shit out,
Yeah.
as opposed to, oh, look at you. And on the cover is a beautiful photo taken by Jadzia Kurzak when I was performing in Amsterdam, and she's just caught me mid-flow, and the light and the everything, and it's a really great shot. Even my boots, my old DMs with all the flowers and mushrooms painted on them and everything, she's caught it mid-flow. But someone could go, oh, who does she think she is then? And you just that permission to love yourself
Yeah. And
is
it's
the
having that.
foundation.
I mean, if somebody said something to me now about being sober, or instead of an instant retaliation, I just pause and just go, "You okay? Is everything all right?" And they go, "Yeah." I said, "No, because you're usually not like this. I was wondering if you're going on." And of course, and so because I want you to be happy and get rid of
Yes.
negative sort of feeling.
Could I share this poem? It's called
Yes,
Clarity. It's very
please.
short. It's literally 20 seconds long. And I wrote it in lockdown when my eyes were truly open and the blinkers came off.
Mm,
And I think, I'm hoping it might encourage someone and also to look at life and everything in a different way.
yeah, absolutely.
So it's called Clarity.
Mhm.
Learning, mindfully moving on, step forward on my path of clarity, firmly pull the door behind me, clear out to enable love and life in. Make room for affirming people to climb into my heart, mind, and time. That's it.
That's it. That's amazing.
Quite short,
Yeah.
but it's making that decision of who you want in your life. And sometimes we do have to close that door
Mm.
once we get that clarity of this is what I want, this is where I'm heading, this is where I want to spend my time.
Mm. No, that's something else. Really is terrific.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's been great having you on. I mean, I love speaking to you anyway. We cross paths regularly when we're
Yeah.
and it's been just amazing to catch up. And I will be at Tannerfest on Friday.
See you on Friday.
I'm not going to get there till a little bit later because I've got to drive back from Milton Keynes.
Oops.
But I'm really looking forward to that. And again, thank you for coming on, Kezzabelle.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And I'll see you soon.
God bless. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Em.
Bye.
Bye bye.